what is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Today, we're going to be talking about the juice of the Warlock subclass with Dawn Chorus and our Dawn Blade. The artifact gives us the ability to have this be some crazy damage potential, as well as its nice little changes in the past that add some additional Scorch, making targets this season just cause some crazy ignitions right here. We went into the Warlord's dungeon, did that little solo damage test for y'all, and put up just over 2 million with this build, so very viable for that damage output, very easy to use as well. Now, before we get into the build, look at this drip. Tell me that it isn't looking just fire. So, we have the Dawn Chorus right here with the Rites of Ember. Our Daybreak projectile deals more damage and scorches target on impact. Our Scorch is improved and we gain a small amount of melee energy when we Scorch damage a target. So Scorch is going to be everywhere with this build, abilities, weapons, so it is very easy to get our grenade, our class ability, as well as our melee back very quickly. As for the other mods that we're gonna have on, hands-on with this build to create that super even faster, since we're gonna be getting our melee back very fast. Harmonic Siphon, since we're going to be pretty much exclusively using a solar weapon to help spread that Scorch, with powerful friends to spread the love. Firepower as well to create orbs of power with our grenades. Momentum transfer, fastball. This will help us to get our melee back a little bit faster as well. For our chest piece, go with whatever resistance you are going into. Now we're going to be using that weapon surge for our solar to help with our heavy, since we're pairing this with the Dragon's Breath, which is a match made in heaven, might I say, because of the addition of the Scorch right here from a Dawn Chorus and the crazy amount of Scorch ignition that comes off of the Dragon's Breath. It is just beautiful. This will give us that 17% damage increase for our solar weapons, which this is making it go a little bit longer with Reaper to create even more orbs of power and just get back our super even quick. Right here is the weapons that we will be using. Like I said, the match made in heaven of the Dragon's Breath right here. That high octane igniting nearby targets replenishes its fuel with its composite propellant. All of that fuel that we have inflicts Scorch to the targets. So the addition of the Dawn Chorus giving the Scorch even more of the juice to it and that higher burn. We're going to get high octane to proc, and the ignition Scorch of this build is nasty. We are using our BXR Battler with Demolitionist and Incandescent, using the ability to get back our grenade, as well as spread that additional Scorch, which stacks, of course, with Dawn Chorus. We're using Riptide with Chill Clip to apply that stasis debuff, and freezing to targets, we can use that for unstoppable champions as well. As for the Juicer Magooser artifact for solar subclasses this season, right here we're going to be using Overload Pulse for that BXR Battler, Flame, Fiber, and Freeze if you choose to use your 3 double mods right here with the Solar Strand, Solar Stasis. Now, importantly, we have these 6, if you will, right here. Kindling Trigger with Flint Striker. We have Kindling Trigger. Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorch to unscorched combatants, just pairing even better with the synergy of Dawn Chorus. Rapid Solar Weapon Precision Hits and Rapid Solar Weapon Final Blows grant us that Radiant, so we don't even need torches or something like that on our subclass to get us Radiant. We're getting it with just our weapons. We have torches, so while we are Radiant, we deal increased weapon damage to combatants affected by that Strand Stasis debuff, which is why we are using our Riptide with Chill Clip to apply that Stasis debuff. On top of that, Heart of the Flame, casting our super nearby allies Radiant and increases the damage of our super for each nearby ally. So in raids, when we're using Dawn Chorus and those projectiles. That is going to increase our damage so much with those 5 guardians next to us. When you're doing it solo, a little bit less. Obviously, it doesn't proc, but when you're going through inside of that damage with your homies, it is so nice. Against those champions and bosses, when we do damage with solar abilities, it weakens them, so just nice for applying even more damage with everything stacked together. Raise Up Precision is our last one. While Radiant, those solar precision final blows causes combatants to ignite, which will help us to spread even more Scorch and just pair with that Dawn Chorus helmet. So right here with our Dawn Chorus, we're going to be using 100 resilience and then recovery discipline as high as we can get them. There is one fragment we can change to get these both to 100. Now for me, I'm going to be using Phoenix Dive, so you can use the combination of Heat Rises, Solar Grenade, Phoenix Dive to get that cure, restoration, everything inside of this build. Plus, it also scorches targets. Movement, build, totally up to you. For me, I personally am using Celestial Fire with this just because of the way that we're applying Scorch. Yes, this will do a little bit more, but we're going to be up a little bit higher because of how I'm using this build with Heat Rises. We aren't going to be super close all the time, so this will make sure that we are reaching those targets everywhere on the map, not just the close ones, which Incinerator Snap does. Now, Grenade, again, totally up to you. Really like the solar grenades, especially with Touch of Flame, so they get those extra blops and linger longer. I know people love healing grenades with these kinds of builds, but I just cannot get used to them, for me at least. Now right here we have Heat Rises, so how the build's gonna work is we're gonna consume our grenade at first. You can see it in the gameplay. Once we consume our grenade, we get that Heat Rises. Then you can use your Phoenix Dive right away to get some of that Scorch apply, as well as Restoration proc, and then we use our solar weapons to get defeats to expand that via our Fragments, which you will see in a second there with Empyrean. And then while Heat Rises is activated and we're in the air, we're going to get our melee back. Plus, with the incandescent demo on BXR Battler, we're getting our grenade back, so it's just an ability spam right there, keeping Restoration, Radiant, and Heat Rises up all at once. Now, when we move on to Fragments, we have Ember of Empyrean first, which this one you could change out if you want, but I personally think it works the best because of its addition to extending Restoration and Radiant. Now, right here we have Ember of Ashes to apply even more Scorch stacks to targets, which just pairs with Dawn Chorus even better. Now we have Defeating Scorch targets grants melee energy and creates fire sprites, so 1, we're getting Scorch targets everywhere. 2, we're getting fire sprites, with grants us grenade energy for that ability spam a little bit better. And then we have Ember of Mercy right here, which picking up all of those fire sprites gives us even more restoration, which we can extend with Ember of Empyrean. So it is a very good little synergy of this build. Like I said, kind of explained how to use it there. We'll explain in a second again. The other option that I had instead of Empyrean is Ember of Char. Gives us our triple 100 stats, and those ignitions spread Scorch, which will just kind of perpetually expand this build for ignitions, if you will, which is how we can just pair it for ad clear, but I like Empyrean for survivability in my personal opinion. So kind of like I was explaining how we work with this build is you start out with popping the Heat Rises, get that going. You can get some defeats if you want, but every time you're up in the air getting defeats with your solar weapon, it'll increase the timer for Heat Rises up to 30 seconds, as well as give you melee energy. Now, we're going to be using Phoenix Dive to get that restoration to proc, as well as picking up those fire sprites. Then, again, we use our BXR Battler to give us grenade energy, spread that Scorch via Demo Incandescent. All of those defeats, because of Ember of Empyrean, will increase or extend the time of Radiant, as well as Heat Rises, as well as Restoration. So it is a triple threat right there, being able to keep yourself alive with Radiant times 2, or do more damage, I should say, with Radiant, keep yourself alive with Restoration, and then Heat Rises, you get your abilities back very quickly inside of your melee. You can use that to spread even more Scorch. You can pick incendiary snaps if you want, but you just got to make sure you're staying closer to the ground or just running over to enemies. But I personally like having the big old celestial fire, so you can stay a little bit farther back, and it just has the potential to hit those targets a little bit farther. So Dawn Chorus absolutely juicing this season, especially because of that artifact. Warlocks, definitely give this a try out for those DPS phases, dungeons, raids, whatever you are going into. When you have more people next to you, we'll be doing more damage. So again, thank you all for the crazy support lately. Came out with the double Warlock build here, got a double Titan build coming out, and then a double Hunter as well. So be prepared for all of those. One Eye Jedi on all of my socials, Discord down below in the description, so make sure to check those out. Appreciate all you guys. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe on the channel as well. So again, love all y'all. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.